Going on, folks? It's a rainy Wednesday for real, for real. So we just got the hounds on the treadmill, cleaned out a couple cakes. Pepper, get out of there! Stop doing that. Pepper doing his dumb shit. He's like a damn kid. But I see a lot of people that don't have a clue in the dog shows or in general with these dogs about conditioning or how see, you gotta know. Listen, even though like I don't condone the 76 Act, I don't condone no illegal activities or none of that, but I'm a history bull and I'm a history guy, you understand what I'm saying? And you gotta know your history so you know what to do and what you got. Because if you don't know your history, you start believing these dumbass people about terrier and bulldog and terrier mix. Our dogs are not no bull and terrier mix. Our dogs are pure our dogs are like the greyhounds, the bloodhounds, the masters. We're just the catch type. Just think about a million years ago. Cut it out. Just think about a million years ago when I domesticated my first litter. I caught a wild ass wolf or this crazy dog that looked crazy in the wild. And I caught 2 puppies and I bred them. And in that one litter, the dogs were good hunters because that's what they naturally were. But there was one that was faster than everybody, one that could see better than everybody, one that could smell better than everybody, and one that could bite better than everybody, and one that could scare shit and keep it at bay like a Rottweiler, like a massive type dog. They keep shit bay, they piss shit down for the catch dogs. All in one litter. Instead of calling it for the game or whatever, people kept breeding for those traits. They kept breeding the fast ones. That's where they got the sight hounds. They kept breeding the good smelling dogs. That's where they got the scent hounds, the bloodhounds. So now you got the sight hounds and the scent hounds. Then you got the big masters, the big war dogs. People like big. Some people like the bigger and better. So some people bred the bigger dogs from that. And that's how you got them big ass mastiff type breeds. The Akita bullies and all that shit. They're all the same of our dogs. They just bred different down off the same shit. They might have some crosses. Come on, Pat. And so, and then we had the one that was the best catcher. Yeah, I remember back in the day, bloodhounds and shit like that. They would catch something and tear it the fuck down. They would tear it apart. People bred those dogs down. No, they didn't add. They might have. Some people might have added. Cut it out, Dolly. Some people might have added some bullshit, but for the real top lines, they didn't do nothing. They just bred them down. Same with our strains. Some strains are purer than others. And some got crossed with terriers. That's where you got the Frenchies and the bull terriers and all that. Yes, but not our dogs. Yes, a couple people might have messed the blood up and threw that shit in there back in the day because people used to do whatever to make winners. But yeah, but not the fast lane. With the bigger the money, the better the dogs. With the better the competition, the better the dogs. Like they're saying Mexico got better dogs now because they're not interrupted by all them dumbass laws. So they got better dogs. You understand what I'm saying? It's not that they bred something different into them. That's what I'm saying. You don't get faster racehorse by breeding fucking donkeys to it. You don't get a faster greyhound by breeding a fucking bulldog to it. You don't get a better bulldog than breeding greyhound to it. You don't get a better bulldog than breeding no fucking Jack Russell or Patterdale. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. You're not gonna get a better bulldog. You create your own shit. So first of all, that's the history. Ain't no crosses. This is the pure shit since the beginning of time. We have the purest catch dogs because that's why our dogs look like everything. Because everything is in them. That's what we wanted. All the other dogs are what people wanted in them. Ain't nobody cross no bullshit into it. That's just what they got. You gotta remember, some bloodlines was inbred for years and years and years. Yeah, my dogs don't get wet. They're secure. They chilling. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to what I was saying. So you gotta know your history first of all. Then you gotta know how, like I said, I don't condone no illegal activity, but you gotta see how these people used to come to pit weight and how they used to school their dogs. Now, when I'm about to talk about some shit that how people used to do back then historically, I'm not doing that shit nowadays. Like I said, all I do is chase shows. But you gotta know where you've been to know where you're going. And how people school dogs. Now, back then, the better competitors were the ones that were fucking hard on their dogs. You didn't play around. Like some people want to try a dog that quit and rolls 2-3 times, make sure he quit 3 times over some bullshit, or quit again. Nah. Some dogs quit and rolls and became good dogs. Like Spike, Garner Spike quit in a couple, I think 2 rolls, and then he became like a 5-time winner. There's a couple dogs that did that. I think Macho Buck quit in a roll, then he became a good dog. Sometimes you ruin them early by doing them too early, so you gotta realize your mistake. But if a puppy's hot, it doesn't matter. Don't listen to people. Oh, you gonna ruin it. First of all, you gotta feed your dogs a top feed from the birth. I like breeding my dogs. Like I'll buy some good ass brood stock, and I like breeding my shit. When I buy some of my stock, I'm not really trying to do those shit, cause the dog, it's not really how I bred it. I gotta figure it out and this and that. You might waste your money. You know what I mean? Cause if you roll it hard and you call it hard, you might waste your money. So I always like breeding my shit. You can make a better bulldog and buy a better bulldog sometimes. Now if you buy a good bulldog, you buy a good bulldog. But anyway, how you school them is, you know what I mean? I don't know. Let them have little 5-minute intervals at first. Just like what we used to do. I know back then people would say, oh, you don't do puppies. Man. Kids start boxing at 8 years old. They start doing jiu-jitsu at 8 years old. I was playing football at 10 years old, boxing at 10 years old. So you can't start young. Again, you gotta know what you're doing. Don't ruin nothing. It's not for everybody, but I'm gonna break it down. If a puppy's hot, 6-7 months, first of all, they probably should be separated at 4 months, because they're gonna be locking ass if they're for any good bloodline. None of my litters can be together past 4 or 5 months during feeding time. They will go. Playing around, they can last until when the temperature, till they get a little excited, and then they'll lock ass sometimes spring polling. But then I don't separate them. You know what I mean? Beast's last litter had to be separated like 3.5-4 months. Trackstar's litter had to be separated at 4 months during feeding time. They can still play together sometimes. But the brothers and sisters that I sold, if they see each other, they want to go. They're only 4.5 months old. They're not 5 months old yet. That's how you want your puppies. Now, back then when I was young, like 6-7 months old, 7 months old, if 2 puppies got locked in playing around, we let them go for 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes, scratch them, see what's up, see how they doing. See if they got natural ability or they just dumb, or see what they like. They're not going to hurt each other. And then you can just break it up. Good boy, good boy, good boy. You're not gambling, so you're not doing nothing illegal. Your puppy's got in an accident, and some people say, oh, why are you recording? You should be... Man, shut the fuck up and mind your business. We're not saying nothing to you when you're at home doing some fucking weirdo shit. So mind your business. But like I'm saying, this is what people used to do when they was active. So know all those opinions, save that shit. All you cop people, I don't want to hear it. Because y'all don't, like, what the fuck are y'all doing behind closed doors? And this is something they've been doing since the beginning of time. It's just now that people want to change perception and want to act stupid about it. This is a sportsman. So, all right, well, if you don't like sports, you don't talk into sports. Like, I don't like geek shit. So I shouldn't be I shouldn't be able to micromanage what y'all do in y'all geek hours. So don't try. So you should have no say in what we do in our sportsman hours. If you don't like boxing, you don't turn on the boxing channel. If you don't like boxing, basketball, you don't try to ban basketball. But, oh, you motherfuckers keep bumping and shooting the hoop. There's something better else to do. Why? Who spends their time playing? Mind your business. That's what people do. That's what I understand. People always want to criticize. Mind your fucking business. Anyway, if they would got into a 6, 7 months old, let them rock out for 3, 4, 5 minutes. That's what you got, right? That's what you got. It's like the chicken fighters. Once they let them run around 7, 8 months. Once they start ripping it, they'll let them get it in for a little bit, see what they got, see what the bloodline got, and then they separate them. Ain't no harm, foul, none of that. So if you breeding game dogs and one time the puppies get it in, it ain't cruel because, oh, you put down the camera and then I want to record the shit, but back in them days, we didn't have cameras. We was, let them rock out. 5 minutes, scratch them, boom, break them up. Good boy. We had hydrogen peroxide, we had Vagabond, we had Neosporin, we had all kinds of, we had antibiotics from smokers that we used to get, and then we would get the penicillin from the store. You know what I mean? So, and then we get penicillin pills from smokers or people that worked at the like RNs and shit like that. You know what I mean? So, we would praise him. Good boy. He'll, clean him up, wash him up, put the Vagabond on, hit the penicillin, give him some Tylenol for swelling or some Dex or whatever, and be like, good boy. Feed him up. The next day, you keep him inside. Don't put him outside. Back in the day, people used to put him outside. Back in the day. When I was young, I learned like in the 90s, keep them in a crate. Dogs got infected, and it took too long. Keep them in a crate, they'll heal up 1 or 2 days, boom, put them right back outside, they loving it. They like puppies, they never knew nobody, never knew nothing happened. Nowadays, people have dogs at 2, 3 years old and scared to put 5 minutes on them. That's what you got. You're not breaking no law because the law says, we're not gambling, we're not breeding for that purpose. I'm not gambling right now. I'm not breeding for that purpose. But I'm not doing nothing illegal right now. I'm on paper. But what would say, like I say, back then, I don't think nothing's wrong with it. When I was younger, 20 years ago, we let them rock out. See what we got. You got to see what the bloodline you got. It ain't nothing cruel about that shit. You know what's cruel is not feeding them. Or keeping them in the house, not letting them play around. Feeding them that trash-ass dog food when they're fat as shit. And they die at 5, 6 years old. That's cruel. And they wearing little jackets and looking stupid. That's cruel. When you see a fox running around in the nighttime in the cold, oh, poor fox. Ain't nothing wrong with that fox. The fox is in his element. He doing what he do. People's perceptions got fucked up by society. I don't know what happened in the last 100 years. But anyway, yeah. It was good to let them rock out. Let them see what they got. And then around 7 months, that's 7 months. 9 months, you see a little brother or cousin of the dogs or a young bull around the way. Yo, what's up, man? I got like a little 8-minute John. What's up? We would meet at the train tracks and the motherfucking in the field. Or anywhere in the field and let them rock out. 8 minutes, boom. Sometimes we ain't had no 6. We'll use branches, break branches, boom. Or by the time 8 minutes, they getting it in. They getting tired. You can just make a handle in the heat and scratch them, boom. We used to use creek water to wash them off and then go home and then just so we can walk them home. So people wouldn't see shit, but back then people wouldn't see them. They would see a dog sweating, wet, breathing heavy with a little couple scars. People like, oh, look at that dog, he was working. It was different times. I don't know, now time people was crazy. They'd rather put something in their mouth or in their butt that don't belong instead of having, they think that's common, or wearing some gay ass shit instead of shit that wasn't. Like, people's perception got fucked up. But back then they didn't give a fuck. And then you can walk home, and it was like everybody, yo, what's ain't got that good shit down there? That's why Mexico got better dogs, so they could do shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, we used to do that. Then by 9 months, he already got 2 rolls. And then we were like, yeah. And then we would work him out, heal him out, work him out. 12 years old, 12 months old, a year, give him a present. 10 minutes. By the time he's 14, 15 minutes, he got 15, 20 minutes scratching. Looking good, 4 or 5 bumps. And you ain't fuck him up. You spaced it out, and you took care of him every time. That's what people say, oh, you doing damage. Where's the damage in that? 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Where's the damage in that? 2 months apart. Ain't no damage in that. And you're taking care of them. You taking late night walks. You got them eating. You know what I mean? You got watching TV with you, smoking blunts with you, walking him at nighttime, putting him up. He getting taken care of, so he's loving this shit. That's how you school those dogs. Shit, how I used to do sometimes, man. The first time you had to give me 15 minutes, 20 minutes. First time, if you didn't, when I was a young boy and I was active, that's why I had so many good dogs, though. I knew my bloodline. So about 15, 20 minutes, if you wasn't scratching that, man, listen, I remember I had a dog, he was a one-time winner of 13 months, an hour and 3 minutes. When I first got him at 10 and a half months, he did 15 minutes, stopped another cur. Our little cur puppy, same puppy. We just say, yo, let the puppies rock out. The bull kept this puppy, but we let him rock out. He stopped the other puppy in 15 minutes. I took care of this dog. I had a little shed. That dog was his, the whole shed was his. He loved it. He loved getting pampered, taken care of. People say, oh, the dog, that's what he was bred for. And I think, a year old, I tested him for 30 minutes. That motherfucker did 30 minutes a year and scratched like a rocket. So at 13 months, I did him again. Boom. One-time winner, 13 months. He was a good dog. Nothing ever happened to him. I took care of him. So you guys, it's knowing is a lot of things. And pit weight. If your dog, let me see, Batty. What's up, Batty? Batty. You can't really see it right here. But, yeah, Batty hears my voice, so she's chilling. She gonna hang out with me. The other ones are in the other puppy's in the box. He looking over there. I think Dolly's in the cage. She said, fuck this. She's inside. But Batty's hearing my voice, so she wanna look around. But the pit weight, you want to have a thin layer above the spine. You don't want to see the spine, but you want to have a thin layer of muscle strap behind that, and a thin little tight line behind the hip, the back hip, the pointers. You don't want the pointers to be out. Now back then, like people had bulldogs, like I said, like Carver dogs, like Stompanato dogs. They be so bulldog looking that they'll still be so heavy up top in the chest area, and they'll still look like they're real wet. But you'll look at their back, and you can put a finger in their points, and they were still good back then. I guess if the points was some dogs, the points you could put a finger there, but it's not like a point. It just shows it. But it's not pointy, I guess it's good. Some Carver dogs were like that. But usually you want that one with the little smooth back. It's a smooth little slope. That's how you want it. You want that muscle back there and a smooth little slope on those pointers. And it's nothing wrong by taking your dog down. If you're cutting up the feed, right? Because a lot of old times would work their dog. Just like Crunchy. I work him for the shows. Now we're talking about modern times. I work Crunchy for the shows now. Sometimes he'll go under. So I got to feed him twice during the day. Just to keep him at weight. Now, it's not bad to have your dog under if you're feeding him every day. You got vitamins in it every day. Now, the white people might look and people might look, oh, mind ain't business. Now, if you can keep people from minding your business and not getting a law called on you, whatever the fuck, this is crazy. You can't even do what you want to do. Everybody wants to look what the fuck you doing and don't know the story. But if you keeping them under a little bit under, and then you power up for the day of the show, ain't nothing wrong with that. Sometimes Crunchy goes under, so every time it comes show week, when I'm drying him out, I'm also stuffing him with extra raw, just to fatten him up because he burns a lot. Some dogs are like that. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of dogs got these. I see a lot of people these days got these dogs and they're scared. They're scared to find out what they're feeding. Like in my way, I see people talking about game. There's motherfuckers that's in the game. You know what I mean? But there's people that got dogs, and they got 3, 4, 5 years old dog, and they never knew what they was feeding. Not an accident or nothing. Kind of bad. Like I said, I ain't telling nobody to do nothing, you know what I mean? But you always gotta know what you're feeding. If you had a bloodhound, don't you want to know if that motherfucker can smell? If you want to have a greyhound and then just say the seconds of a natural sprint was like 7.7 seconds, when you want that greyhound to be around 0.7 seconds, if you were breeding, if you were breeding to continue the bloodline, when you want your bloodhound to smell a certain way, if you were to continue to breed that bloodhound, that bloodline, I don't give a fuck what society says over there. That's because the AKC, UKC people, that's why a lot of their dogs goes to shit. They inbreed the shit out of them dogs. And then what do? Listen, they can't argue with this. This is 100% facts. What do they do when they need their dog to get back to form? When their dog, or they're losing trait, they go back to the motherfuckers that got the dogs that stay in the woods. They go to an active, real motherfucking working bloodhound to breed their dogs to. After like 20 generations of that bullshit, they go right back just to get the, you know what I'm saying? So why not just breed that way the whole time? Those shows are what's fucking up the dog scene, is those shows, AKC, UKC type shit. Because they don't breed true to form. They want to make all, this is this, that's that. Well, then you don't belong in dogs. If you guys are representing the UKC, that's why you guys should be, the UKC and AKC people should be competing against PETA and all those animal organizations and all those teller-in-laws. But y'all just fucking faggots and all worry about money. But like I said, once their fucking collie stop doing collie shit, who do they go to the collie? Once their Labrador bloodline starts fucking up and it starts getting hip dysplasia and they don't live for 7 years, who do they go to get to straighten up their bloodlines? To the working collies, to the working Labradors. You see what I'm saying? So why front on the people with the working stock from the beginning? That's what I say. You guys should tell these animal people, shut the fuck up, mind your business. Because y'all fucking things up that been going on for hundreds and thousands of years. Okay? I think every man should let the dog hunt. I think like it should be like, you know what I mean? They should, if it's so much about money, sanction that shit. Everybody meet at the Indian reservations, like the Indian reservations have casinos. Hook us something up with the Indian reservations where you can go there and like get medical up there. And everybody should be able to hunt their dogs at the Indian reservations. And let the dogs heal up there and stay there for a week or two and then pick your dog up. Or a couple of days later, pick your dog up, take him home. Ain't no law against that. That's what I'm saying. All you UKC, AKC, kennel clubs, y'all should be fighting these people with these bullshit tethering laws and these bullshit BSL laws. Because they're fucking the bloodlines up. Now they're trying to mess with horse racing. It's too much money in horse racing. They're never going to fuck that up. But horse racing people should support the dog people, because if they can knock off the little people, that's the crumbs they can knock off the big chair too. You know what I'm saying? So they got to support the dog people too. Like y'all German Shepherd motherfuckers, them cop dogs, y'all let them people bite people. Fuck, that's why I don't like German Shepherds. I don't like those Belgian Mammals. I don't fuck with those dogs. They use them against our people. Against people, I don't like that shit. I let my dog crush one of them fucking German Shepherds. I can't stand them. That's why people switch to Belgium. I mean, what the fuck y'all doing? That's the dogs that was fucking biting us. Anyway, and that's the police dogs. Fuck them dogs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They let their dogs bite people, work people, and they breed the best of their shit. That's what I'm saying. The government only wants for them, and they let a whole bunch of bullshit. Now, if people are doing things wrong, they're not taking care of their dogs. Yeah, put pressure on them. Yo, man, you gotta take care of your shit. Yo, you gotta take care of your aftercare. Yo, you're literally. That's why you need to help people, educate them. Don't arrest them. Help them. Teach them how to take care of their shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way no man should do 100 years or 50 years or 60 years for doing that. especially if no dog died or nothing. Like, come on, man, y'all guys is crazy. Stop that shit. Your perception is fucking insane right now. The people can't even talk about old school shit 20 years ago without having people like their channel get looked at bad or stuff like that. Cause that's why like you go to the dog shows and nobody knows how to condition their dog. Nobody knows how to school their dog. Nobody knows how to bring the dog right and weight and pit weight. You get fat ass dogs in pit competitions. Like what the fuck is y'all doing? That's not the standard. That's why the AKC dogs is all fat and fucking they're no good, but they always come back to the working dogs to help their stock out. Like y'all, it's like no common sense nowadays. No common sense. But yeah, you gotta school the dogs out. And what I used to do back in the day, man, the reason why I would do, listen, you gotta do 15, 20 minutes from the beginning, because I want to get rid of that bullshit from the door, because I didn't like losing. So if you was gonna quit, if you had any quitting in you, I made sure you quit early. Get out of my life early. Get to the next early. So fuck that. By your second roll, if you wasn't doing 15, 20 minutes, you got out of there. And you got scratched hard. And I ain't like that turning shit. None of my shit turned. All my shit was, when I was in my heyday, from like 98 to like 03, 04, none of my shit turned. I had dogs that didn't even go out of holds. No turning. I went like 3 years with my dogs. None of my dogs turned ever. And scratched like bulldogs. One time I had a dog that wasn't at a hole till like an hour. The scratching didn't start till like an hour. And it was over in an hour 15. You see what I'm saying? That's back in the good old days. And then they keep fucking these dogs up. And all people do is keep bringing them better and better and better. But yeah, a lot of people, we got, cut it out. People got to start sticking together. And fighting these petty ass laws, because this is crazy. Because now, I know the old school people, but I see it in like 50 years, it's going to get bad. Like if I don't have a couple people that I pass this, none of my kids are into it, only my stepdaughter. But if I can't pass none of this knowledge off, she's going to have it. My kids are going to have it. Well, if we have, me and my wife have another kid, because the future dogs is going to be fucked up. People don't know how to school no dogs. Now, I'm not saying which way is better. You start early or late, or you start with 5-minute bumps, so you go a couple minutes, add 5, 10, 15, 20. You know, I mean, some people ain't about time. They just go to see what they want to see. They probably might, all the rolls might never go 15, 20 minutes. Some people roll their dog for an hour. I would never roll my dog for an hour. Fuck that. But you know, if you're still at 30 minutes, 20 minutes at home schooling your dog, and you don't know what the fuck you're looking at, an hour, you gonna wait? Nah, man, you just dumb as shit. But like I said, man, ain't no right way. But you gotta school them. You gotta see what you want. Take a car ride. There was car rides. Like when I was in my heyday, I had this dog Ace. The police took him. Man, he would know my energy. They took him at 14 months. He was already here. He already put down like 3, 4 Jones. None of his rolls, nobody ever. At 7 months, one of his rolls lasted 8 minutes. He stopped the dog at 7 months. At like 8, no, he rolled his brother at 7 months. Then he rolled his half brother at 8 months. That went 10 minutes. And then he stopped that dog at 8 minutes, around like 9, 10 months. That was after that was the longest he ever went. After that, I rode him with 3-year-old, 4-year-old sons of grand champions, and he stopped them at 4, 5, 6 minutes. Where the owner stopped the roll at 5, 6 minutes. Not when we passed 6. We were separated, and I was putting his collar back on by 6 minutes. And he knew by the time I went to his cage. And I said, good boy. He knew what was up. When I would put him in the truck, he knew he was in there breathing like a dragon. By the time I took him out that truck, I would walk him down the area, wherever. Man, he knew what time it was. He was only 14 months. You see what I'm saying? And with his roles, I was letting him rock out every role. I never put a time limit. Everybody else did. I liked watching him so much that I didn't care. They were like, all right, all right. And we was like, all right, you sure? Yeah, all right. That's how I was. I was ready to let him rock wherever. But yeah, school is important. So nowadays, I don't know, you do it with a hog. There's a lot of ways to do it legally, like what I do now to school my dogs. But I'm not talking about that. Trying to talk to you motherfuckers that don't know how to school dogs. Like I said, I ain't condoning nothing, but I'm telling you how we used to do it. Ain't nothing wrong. It was nothing wrong with a little accident in the yard. You know what I mean? An older dog teaching a younger dog. Some older dogs are smart. They'll take their time on the younger dogs, schooling him out right for you. You might get an older dog that knows that. He'll like it. He'll like playing with the younger dogs and you know, bullying them, fucking them up. But he won't do it too hard. He'll pace himself just to let him have a little confidence. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong. Now people use that. Now people using hogs instead of dogs. They get a big, bad 300-pound hog. They let run around in the pen, and every once in a while they'll throw a little young pup in there. And I guess they'll take the tusk down, whatever. Throw a pup in there and see what the pup won't do. And they'll have two hogs. They'll have a smaller hog and an older hog. And there'll be some badass hogs that really the dogs can't really do nothing to them. So ain't nothing wrong with that, I guess. Because one dog can't do nothing to your hog. That hog will be able to live his full life. Like people say, oh, that's cruel. I don't see nothing wrong with nothing wrong. Some of them hogs like it. He living in his pen. He living like a king. And every once in a while he get to punch on a young bull. I don't see nothing wrong with that. That's what people use in schooling these days for hog dogs. I don't see nothing wrong with that neither. I don't see how anybody should have a say on somebody doing that for their dogs, with their dogs, as long as they're doing it properly. And if you're interrupting, a motherfucker ain't never gonna learn how to do it properly. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, man, people should be let alone to do what we want to do with our lives and have fun. And you gotta school your dog. I'm not gonna have a dog for 10, 15 years if I never knew that motherfucker could find a bag of weed under a car. Like if I had a bloodhound and I had him for 10 years and I never knew that motherfucker could find that bag of weed under that car, what the fuck? He could never, like, why? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't know, all that shit you have. I mean, that's what animals are for. Animals are not little fucking, like, dolls and stuffed animals. They're functional creatures. And by you, and all right, and we bent them to be that, but now you want to bend them to do something else? They always had it in them to survive. You guys just try to make them where they can't survive without you. That ain't cool. That's cool. You teaching a person that they need to be dependent on somebody to survive. Them sleeve dogs, they gotta hunt the sleeves, don't they? And sleeve work every day makes them better and better, right? Beautiful day for dog talk. Like my old heads used to say, if a dog's 50 pounds on a chain, he can be 40 pounds in a box. Sometimes it depends on how fat you keep your dog. But they'll say if he's 50 pounds, you take 8 pounds off him. Some people say take 6 pounds off him. You know what I mean? It depends on how big you keep your dog. But usually in keep, I would take 8 to 10 pounds. 6 to 10 pounds, 8 to 10 pounds from a dog. I think my average was 8. I would take 8 pounds from a dog. I matched Star at 48, and she was about 56 on the chain. Buford was like 57, 56, 58 on the chain, and I matched him at 48 his one time, and then the second time he would have been like he was real thin at 48. I could have brought him at 49. He would have been real good. He still won in like 27 minutes, 20 something minutes. 02, 03. So yeah, you had to have 4 to 6 pounds, and then you start looking, seeing where you're at from there. And if you start seeing those spines and those points, you went too far. Don't get crazy alarmed by it. And they still got the pull. You still want that dog to pull. And take that dog to do a lot of different shit. So when they're in the car, they don't get out the car all scared of people. Like Batty, the little bitch I got right there, she in her box now. But see, when they first heard my voice, they was all out trying to see what I was doing, and they went back in their box. It's a chilly little rainy day today. I got a couple of them in the house. But you want to make sure they can still pull real strong. Because when they start lightening up on that pull, then you're like, too low. And when you're working your dog out, once it's going like, too much. And when her tongue is bent up and they're sweating like crazy, slow it down, let them catch their breath. And if they sit down, that's kind of bad, they're out of shape. Gotta ease into that shit. But how many yards will you guys be feeding if you got a 10-minute accident in your yard? How many dogs would you guys be feeding if you had a 10-minute accident in your yard and you walked in there and both dogs was out of holds at 10 minutes and they didn't like each other? It's not like if they used to hang around each other all day, but if there were dogs that were at a chain and they were at the other chain and they didn't like each other, and you came home one day and they were 8 minutes out of hold and just lying around. That's what I'm saying. You gotta know these things. I wouldn't want to feed nothing like that. I would not. If I had an accident and I'm 30 minutes and they say your dog's got loose and I go home, it's 30 minutes, I'm driving home, and them motherfuckers better be ripping for that whole 30 minutes. And when I break them up, they better be going, ah! You know what I'm saying? If not, I'm not feeding that. A lot of people's yards will be gone because they're chasing the pedigree instead of the dogs. Just remember, you gotta have the dogs gotta match the peds. And if the dogs is too inbred, sometimes they're not going to match what the peds say because they're too tight. You got to let the peds work. Remember, if it's too tight, you got to let the peds work. It might take it. If some motherfuckers inbreed their shit so fucking hard, so bad, that it takes 2 generations for the bloodline to work. I seen it. Motherfucker said, oh, this shit's dead, man. This shit's all curves. Motherfucker ain't producing nothing. Retarded ass dog. You look at the pedigree, it's fucking 1,000,000 times inbred. I'm like, that's why. Then it outcrossed with something. That shit was trash. But when that shit outcrossed with something, or bred to something, it was dragons, all of them. You be like, what the fuck happened? The blood finally got out of that motherfucking lock it was in. You had that blood locked in. It was too tight. Sometimes you gotta let it work. There you go, baddie. I raise my frequency up, baddie jump right back up. She know what it is. What is it, baddie? You heard me raise my frequency, you came right back up. Check her homie up. But yeah, ain't nothing wrong with finding out what you feed. That's basically. And sometimes you gotta go underweight to know what weight you in. Or go to a couple shows and see how tight they are to see where you at. And ask people how they get in that tight. Some bloodlines genetically are like Bolio blood and Sorrel bloodlines are like genetically just tight. Some Eli lines are like that, but it's a little dog talking about the smoke. Well, make sure y'all dogs are able to fucking do what they were supposed to do. That's all I'm saying. All them laws, I ain't telling nobody to break the laws. I'm not breaking the laws, but you know, fuck the laws for real. I'm an outlaw. But make sure your dog can bulldog. Make sure your bulldog can bulldog. That's all. Make sure your hound can hound. Don't be scared to find out what you really feed. And when you do, that's another conversation. Be responsible. Take care of the bullshit. Don't sell your bullshit. Do not sell your bullshit. And do not take that shit to the fucking folks. Handle your shit responsible if you have to. By yourself. Don't tell nobody about it. And don't get caught doing it. But handle your bullshit. Don't sell that trash. When you got trash, handle your trash. Take your trash out. Don't give it to somebody else to take out. I just want to say, how many of y'all find out what you really feeding? That's all. Just the question of the day, stormy day. What are you really feeding? Have a good day, y'all. Say bye, baddie. Yeah.